let us recap the events that have brought us to today. Our crew of adventurers have dealt with many threats since coming together as friends. The hazards of the natural world, manticores, a hag, gangs, crime lords, but nothing has truly prepared them for dealing with the Naestromo, a sanctified group of holy inquisitors, a powerful sect of religious zealots who take the tenets of arcane doctrine to an extreme that causes many within the various religious organizations of the Imperium to pale. The recent efforts by the Naestromo to root out those who wield cursed magic, as they put it, have found their way to Orlustran, causing a great amount of strife within the city, even to the once hallowed halls of education at the Orlustran Conservatory of Arcane Magics, or Occam for short, a very prominent university of study connected to the largest cathedral dedicated to Orlumus in the world. All classes there have ceased. Students, as well as some faculty, are being tested to see if they possess this unsanctioned arcana within them. And as our crew of friends returned to Orlustran, having journeyed to check upon their airship in the Stormsong Mountains that is to be their escape from the difficulties of the Imperium, they discovered all of this strife within their home city, and at first sought to try to avoid it altogether. Unfortunately, this plan that they had was dashed relatively quickly when it was discovered that the Naestromo had taken Mira captive and were likely interrogating her. The rest of Mira's companions moved quickly to rescue her, Violet returning at an opportune moment to aid in this rescue along with her Aunt Wren, and rescue Mira they did, along with another student, a diviner named Oriana, that had been also taken by the Naestromo. The rescue, however, was not easy. Thanks to quick thinking and a somewhat daring reveal of Bren's medallion of virtue, however, they escaped with the bruised and battered Mira in tow. Much personal discussion was had the following day in regards to what direction they should focus on now, but before any decisions could be made, Mira and Adi had to confront their parents, members of the clergy themselves, while the rest of the companions ventured to find some help from some of their allies. Mira revealed her bruises, as well as her connection to Orlumus, while Adi revealed that by the definitions of the clergy's edicts, she was a cursed being. As shocking and profound as such revelations were, however, the twins' parents pushed past their awe and confusion and embraced their daughters with open arms. We now, however, turn our attention to Violet, Sisk, and Bren as they venture to meet with the local merchant of hard-to-acquire goods, Tamra. So, my friends, you just left hearth and home. Mrs. Withersby providing some scrumptious delights on the go to take with. And you had your discussions amongst yourselves about the direness of the situation. You catch a gondola, start making your way towards the southern edge of the city at the farthest reaches of the mercantile district. And as you approach a familiar to the three of you anyway, place of business, you see that there are no lights on inside. It is dark. Now, that's not necessarily unheard of. It is close to sun's set at this point, and Bren, you know that very frequently Tamara will make the shop appear closed if she's trying to take care of something inside and does not want to be disturbed. But given the urgency of your situation, you decide to knock anyway. There's silence in response, no stirring within. You knock again. And just as you were about to turn to your companions to ask what might need to be done next, the door cracks open just ever so slightly. And you hear a voice from within, Tamara's. Come on in now. Get in here quick. Don't let anyone see you. You surge through quickly and quietly, and you step into the mostly dark room. There is just enough light for Bren, for you to be able to see. Sisk and Violet, of course, can see just fine, even though there isn't much light to be had. And you see Tamara there, very obviously a little stressed. Her normally well-kept braid on the back of her head is undone, and her hair flows loose around her shoulders. And Bren, you can see that her practiced smile is perhaps a little bit more practiced as she looks upon you. Before we get to your discussions, I would like to thank Varl for the subs. Thank you so much for those gifted subs. Enjoy them, everyone. You are a gem, Varl. So, Bren, being the first through the door, you see Tamara. She's an arm's length away from you at this point, and she has a somewhat relieved expression in her eyes that you can notice as she sees you and Violet and Sisk. Or in this case, Sienna, as she knows them, because she does not know Sisk's true identity.
The first thing that Bren's going to do is to create a mind link between the two of them, allowing her to speak telepathically to him, and he's going to say...
So as you do this, it is strange. You've never had a mind link fail before. And it fails this time. And as it does so, you notice the magical ring upon Tamara's finger that she uses to do some of her minor little cantrip style magics, moving the furniture around and the like. You notice it shimmer and glow in this dark room. It's very faint, but because the room is so dark, you are very easily able to see it, and it happens instantaneously as you attempt the mind link. She glances down at her finger, and then she looks up at you with a slightly worried expression. She just rubs her thumb against the finger, and aloud, but in a hushed voice, she says, "Now, Bren, did you just try to do something to my mind?"
Oh, not something to it, but something helpful.
I don't generally allow folk up here in my noggin. I hope you'll respect my privacy with that. It's safe for us to talk aloud. This place is warded so that those that might eavesdrop would hear gibberish. But come on in now. I'm sure that you all will have much to discuss with me. And she starts leading you all back towards the main portion of the shop. As she walks, she waves her hand, and the ring glows very faintly again, and you see stools kind of moving into place around for everyone to sit in a little circle.
I mean, before we begin to talk anything, Brent's like, what's wrong? Are you okay?
I'll be fine. There's just there's some rough business going on in town. I'm sure you are all aware. And there's some friends of mine that are dealing with some things, and I have to be ready to help them as soon as they need it. is all.
Well, I mean, that's
Speaking of helping friends, did you ever hear from your friend Leighton? I had an unconfirmed report that someone matching their description was in the city, but I was never quite able to validate whether that was true or not. That's why I didn't reach out.
We did find him. We intercepted him. We got some mind control hooks out of him, and I think he's making some false leads and helping cover our tracks.
Well, it's good to hear that any such things that might affect one's mind got removed. I don't. And you can noticeably see the disgust in her voice as she says, I don't abide such things at all, so warms my heart a bit that you were able to do it.
Yeah, he did the same for me once, so I wanted to return the favor.
Well, I'm glad that got resolved. I'll let my people know that they can stop looking for him.
Thank you, and I thank you for doing it in the first place. I appreciate it.
Well, I tried anyway. He apparently was a slippery sort. I got wind of a couple of the cities he had been traveling to before Orlustran, and was a man of some skill, I might add.
Yeah, he's definitely skilled, for sure.
We'll leave that one right there. And so how are you doing? Violet, it is good to see you. I know we only met the once, but, still good to see you nonetheless. Any friend of Bren's, and he talks such highly of you anyway.
It's really good to see you. Look, we need some help. I know you're helping a lot of people right now, but do you think...
It is what I do.
We've got something special, and we need somebody that can work with it. A metalsmith of some kind. Do you know of anybody?
Oh, I know quite a few metalsmiths, actually. I commission all sorts of interesting little projects across the Imperium. You might say that there's probably not a single person within the Imperium that knows quite as many different skilled artisans as myself, though. Any particular notes on this little project of yours that you might need a skilled smith for?
I mean, we can show her the metal.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm always fascinated to see new things. If you've got something to show.
Violet will
And
pull it out of her bag.
as this conversation has gone on, you can see that she's becoming a little bit more at ease, and some of the tension is kind of leaving her body. And it isn't that she's just really good at hiding it. Like, a couple of you are really good at reading people, and she's noticeably more relaxed as this conversation has continued. As you go into your pouch, I'm assuming that you're retrieving the Lunaran steel. You pull out one of the ingots and kind of just hold it up in your hand. And as you hold it up in your hand, there's some moonlight coming through the windows. Sun's just setting outside moments before, and you can see as it comes out, it has that effervescent glow about it that Violet is quite used to at this point, as she has basically seen it every chance she's pulled it out on her journey back from so far away with it. And as you retrieve it, Tamara's eyes alight and go wide. She says, my. Miss Violet, you have something very special in your hand right there. And, pray tell, what desperate kind of project are you working on that might need Lunaran steel?
Violet looks at Bren like, do you want to tell her or?
Yeah, screw it. So you remember when I had asked you for all of that to make a sale, right?
Oh, yes. That should be arriving just in a day or two, by the way. We can talk in detail about that as soon as you elaborate a little bit more, whatever it is that's burdening your soul so much.
Yeah, so this deal is for that too. The twins, Violet and I, we went into the Siltwood because they had saw a meteor, right? Long story short, we found it, and with it, we found a boat that flies.
I'm sorry. Did you just say flies?
It flies, Tim.
Now, Bran, you and I have enough history for me to know that you're telling the truth, but even that defies credulity. Define flies.
Absolutely. It flies. It's Tamara, there's no
she doesn't laugh. I'm laughing because that was great.
there's no there's no tricks about this. I mean, before we left it was legitimately hovering off the ground about a good foot. We have maps and journals from people who are not from here that talk about their journey to here. And the only reason why we were able to find it is because it crashed. It's a boat that flies in the air, and there's other lands that we can go to with this boat. I mean, there's a robot on top of the Siltwood right now that is just it.
So I need to correct something here. When you're saying Siltwood, are you meaning to say the Stormsong Mountains, or are you purposely saying Siltwood?
Well, I started off by saying the Siltwood because that's what popped in my head, but Stormsong Mountains, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And she stops you mid-sentence, and she says, are you saying that you can confirm with physical evidence that the Imperium is not the only place in our world?
Yes, 100%. And then honestly, he because he kept the map with the oceans, and so like he pulls it out and he goes 100%, and he pulls out one of the maps and he goes, this is what one of the maps that we found. As you
pull it out and kind of lay it in front of her, she snaps her fingers and a soft glow starts flowing across the map just to light it. There isn't any, it's light. It's just a cantrip. She's not testing it or doing any kind of like, that you can tell anyway, any detection or any weird stuff like that. She's just making it glow so it can be seen in the dark room. And her eyes just dart all over the map. And she takes it in, and there's this pause, this pregnant silence in the room as she stares at this map. And she looks up at you, Bren, and for the briefest moment you think you see reflecting in the light just a little hint of moisture gathering at the edge of her eye. And she says, my dearest friend, I could kiss you right now.
In character, Bren goes, and then like looks at Violet and Sisk like,
The value of what you have handed me here cannot be understated. I hope you understand that.
Even more so now.
This news alone from a trusted source such as yourself is priceless.
It's also really dangerous to know.
You, my dear Violet, have touched on the reason that it is so valuable. There are people within this Imperium that have purposefully hidden truths from all of us. There are others within these godforsaken lands that are trying to get that truth out. You and I are going to be dealing in a number of things in the coming weeks, I assume, given beyond what we have already discussed. And in that, I would ask one thing of you as recompense. Mention journals from far-off places, likely written in languages that are not easily understood without magical means, I assume.
I can come in handy. A lot of them I can read.
Wonderful. That's a rare skill you have.
It's not that rare. I guess over.
Well,
here.
it's rare in these parts.
Yeah.
Wonderful. If you don't mind, I would like to come into possession of one of those journals. As long as it contains any semblance of information that can be used to validate the principle that someone comes from a place outside of the Emperor's divine providential control. That's what I need. Does that sound reasonable to you, my friend?
I can do that.
Wonderful. Now, about this metalsmith that you need. Do you have any semblance of understanding in regards to what you need crafted from the metal? Are you talking about a weapon? Are you talking about a tool? Are you talking about a mechanism? There's all manner of different skills that could apply, and there are so very few individuals that know how to deal in such steel as this, that I would hate to steer you to the wrong person.
A mechanism to help with the engine of the boat.
Engine,
then,
you say?
Yeah. Remind me, Miko. It was whether it was a housing for the engine or a mechanism for it, but then it was also part of the hull too, right?
No, this was specifically for the engine. It was basically just a harness.
Gotcha.
That it's a stabilizing piece that keeps the engine from exploding. And without it, you can't run the engine for any significant duration of time without running major risk of damage to the engine, damage to the ship, damage to the people. It basically requires, if you remember correctly, when you guys had all channeled all of that arcane energy that you all had at the engine on your first meeting to try to stabilize it, if you tried running the ship, it would require basically that level of effort every single day of operation without having this harness.
Yeah, light work for sure.
Yeah.
So I convey that within the best means of Bren's knowledge to Tamara.
All right then. I know of a gentleman, but he's fairly far away now. You'll have to travel to the deserts to the south to get there. It's not an easy journey. But if you have a flying ship now, that might make it easier. How you get there is, of course, entirely up to you. I can facilitate many different modes of travel, although I don't have a flying airship in my pocket, now do I? You just let me know how best I can help. But when you are ready to head in that direction, you let me know, and I'll make sure everything is ready for your departure.
We will, and we'll make sure to get that journal to you too before we come back and ask for that.
Excellent. As for the rest of the things, the sail and those interesting material componentries that your young, what was her name? Mira? Or was it 80? I forget. One of the twins.
It was probably
Either
both of
one.
them. Yeah.
They had inquired about some specific material componentry and such. That's taken a little bit more effort to acquire, and unfortunately the Naestromo, and she says that with pure disgust, have put a little wrinkle in the acquisition of such things, but it shouldn't take more than an additional couple of days beyond the sale before I have it in my possession.
Okay.
Do you want all of these things delivered to your farm then?
You know what? Yes. Absolutely.
Consider it done.
Timur, outside of what you had asked me for, the journal, is there anything that you need?
My dear young man, there are so many things in this world that I need.
Give me one.
You've done a great service to me in what you have shared this night. So please understand that when I say this, I say it with all the truest of convictions. I appreciate you. And that is enough for now. And if I do need something, I know just the man to call.
You make sure that you do. Friends, is there anything else that I'm forgetting before we leave?
You mentioned that there's people wanting to spread more information about the wider world. Do you know who they are? Do you know? What can you tell us about them?
Ms. Violet, please understand that when I say this, it is not with any kind of ill will towards you, but no one knows all of those people on purpose. Each of us might know a couple of the others. It's kept that way because of organizations like the Naestromo.
I understand.
Sisk, anything?
What I can tell you, Ms. Violet,
Sorry.
is that many of those individuals are like yourself. We do our best to make sure that as few harms as possible come to them.
Just want to help.
I see that, and I see you. She just gives you an assured nod.
Sisk,
Now, if that might be all,
All right. Say.
One quick thing. Maybe if you can find. Oh no, there's no magic here. I was gonna ask you for a scroll of some sort, but never mind.
now I'm insulted. Are you trying to imply that I might not have something that you need?
I maybe not.
Miss Sienna, I know that we don't know each other that well, but I thought that our relationship was a little bit more than that.
I'm sorry, I underestimated you. I'm maybe a scroll of major illusion or something. If we do decide to take the ship into the desert, trying to be as sneaky about it as possible might be a good idea. So if you can find that, amazing.
She has had her hands like on the map, keeping it from like naturally rolling itself back up, and she takes her hands away and both of the edges of it curl towards one another fairly rapidly, and it rolls itself back up. And she grabs onto it and finishes rolling it so it's in a nice tight cylinder, and she kind of just holds it up. May I borrow this for a short period of time, my dear friend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. And she reaches down into the counter beside her and tucks it away. And she says, "Oh, my, now what is this?" And she pulls out a scroll case. Just like one smooth motion, the disappearing of the scroll and the appearing of the scroll case. What does this say? Oh, this is a list of a few scrolls that I might have. Well, there's a nice one. That's a good... I'm sorry, you said an illusion scroll, did you not?
I did.
Well, look at that. And she just pops the end off of it and slides the scroll out. And I just happen to have one of those right here. And she, with a flourish, gestures it in Sienna's direction.
Sienna will do a big flourish herself to receive the scroll. My deepest thanks from the bottom of my heart. Bren will make sure the message gets through to you.
I'm sure he will. And as she says that, there is a knock at the door, and it is to Violet and Sisk's ears a repetitive knock. It's like tap, 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 like a coded message kind of knock. Bren doesn't pick up on that perhaps as easily as the other two do. And Tamara's eyes kind of glower for a moment. They become dark. And she... This way then, out the side door if you don't mind.
Sure.
Be careful. And she reaches a hand out and grabs onto Bren's elbow. Gives it a tight squeeze. You take care of these girls now.
I will.
Back door. You know the way. And as you're heading out that direction, she goes to the front door and cracks it open just like she did for your entry. And as she does so, a figure steps into the room. And this is as you're exiting, but a couple of you are perceptive enough to really be able to pick up on this very brief interaction that you can witness as you see a very, very large man, easily over 6, maybe 6.5 feet tall, stepping into the room. He has a cloak over his head, and Tamara reaches a hand up to cradle the man's cheek as his cloak falls away, and you can only really see just a hint of the back of his head. You can't see his full face because of the way that they're turned and you're exiting so fast and all, but you can see a bald head, and Violet notices a clipped ear. And then you duck out the back.
This is like, Fred's like, oh, that's okay. Legit
go around the
fighting
front.
urge. Yeah, he's legit like fighting the urge to like wild shape into like a fly real quick.
Did you see that?
Fly on the wall. Yeah, I saw that.
Technically, you can't wild shape into a fly. You're not high enough level yet.
Thanks, Miko.
You wild shape into a mouse?
Yeah.
No, she would know that.
I'm sorry, she has a type.
Shut up. All right.
Does the alleyway go to the front of the store? Could we sneak up and peer around the corner?
Right.
I mean, you can, but by the time you get up to the corner, the door is closed and you can't see inside. So
Yeah, she doesn't have any visible windows. All right, let's go. Just come on. Just we won't think about it. Well, that's good, right? We got the scroll. Didn't think of that. That was awesome. Somebody for the medal. Sweet.
so yes, Kay, that is a single-use scroll of major illusion.
Sweet. So,
Are we supposed to get down
Flying.
south?
I was just about to taking the ship down south. I think we'll be able to do it. Be faster.
I mean, we'd be seen, and people would know right away.
Well, that's what the scroll is for, right? Sis, that's what you got.
We're gonna make it look like a cloud or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Come on.
A big storm
It's
cloud moving real fast.
It's That's weird weather. It's an idea. It's not a bad idea. It's actually one of the better ideas that we've had.
I like that I'm on the scoreboard for good ideas. I'm assuming we're keeping track.
We are, and you're leading the pack right now.
Thanks.
Is that the type of thing that you get a good idea and you get a mark, but then a bad idea crosses out that mark?
Yeah, you erase it. You erase it. We write it in a journal. Sis had an idea today.
Hey,
Okay,
had the one brain cell. Amazing.
Oh, no. I assume we're walking and talking, right? I have no idea where we're going, but
Yeah, I don't know either. You tell me.
yeah, it's something, right? We're gonna have to do it either way. What's the alternative?
I don't know. That's the thing. I worry about crashing the ship and doing more damage. Trying to fly it ourselves.
It's worth mentioning too, because the conversation that you guys are about to have, Sienna, before either of the other two of you, but you would assume that it's a long time. Sienna would know clearly that if you were trying to get to the deserts of the Imperium, which is like, you are almost as far north as you can be in the continent, right? And the desert makes up like the bottom third of the continent. So you basically would have to traverse 2/3 of the continent to get there. That triples, if not quadruples, the voyage that Violet just took.
We want to figure this out.
Yeah.
We could, if we continue with the revolution, which I'm very excited for. If we continue with that, if we can make like the go symbol for like whatever's going on, a ship flying out of the mountains, and then so everyone would see that there's a flying ship, so it wouldn't be, but it's a signal for some other event to happen.
I understand where you're going with that, but I feel that would cause more harm than good, mainly for us.
Yeah.
Be telling a lot of people about a flying ship.
But we want to get the thoughts out there into the people. But major illusion also good too for me.
I mean, there'd probably be a better way to kind of get the people stirred up for multiple reasons. One, for their own, I guess, their own benefit, but then two, to provide us a distraction to at least get out. The biggest problem is we need to kind of figure out how to make sure the engine doesn't blow up on our trip to go get the thing, to make sure the engine doesn't blow up.
That's exactly where my mind is.
Yeah. And I'm not pulling a wagon across wherever.
Yeah.
Great.
Think about
No
it.
problems.
Maybe if Mira.
So are you guys headed back to the safe house at this point, by the way? Just so I know where you're actually walking and talking to.
We're just kind of standing in the middle of the road now. Just
I'm assuming that you're walking.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do about this flying boat thing? Yeah, back to the safe house, or at least for right now.
Okay, cool. Shout out to Stacy UK in the chat. Up late tonight. Thanks for sticking around with us. Always love it when you get to tune into us live, Stacy. Stacy UK, by the way, in case you all didn't know, is the maestro of the official Ysterra, official Ysterra playlist that she put together all of the many VODs of every episode on the several different channels that I have GM'd Ysterra of into a nice, convenient playlist. Thank you so much for that, Stacy. Love you. So, as you guys are walking and talking, headed back to the safe house, let us cut across town to the twins. 80 and Mira at their older brother Bert's home, having difficult conversations with their parents. Where last we left off, I believe the twins' mother had just made a promise to try to earn back the trust of Mira and would spend the rest of her life doing so if she had to. And then you all embraced. Tearfully for some, perhaps. Your brother Burke came over too and joined the embrace. And ever an easy man to break the awkwardness of something, he clears his throat and says, "Okay, who wants fruit?"
Please, yes, that sounds really great.
Did you get it yourself?
I mean, I got it. What does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
Do we need to? No, I'm not even. That's okay. Just walks over to the table and like turns around and says, "Strawberries, anyone?"
I will take a shitload of strawberries.
He just kind of awkwardly, gestures to the table. At this point, your father, Varric, yeah, okay. Let's all sit down. I think that would be good to do right now. Please, can we all let's do that. And he goes over to the table and he sits. Burke kind of goes around to the table, finishes pouring some glasses of water that, he had only gotten like halfway through before all of the bombs started dropping in conversation, and just kind of sits down and starts setting out the table. Kalea stands there tensely for several moments, both of her hands on Mira's shoulders. She just whispers to Mira, "I love you. You know that, right?"
Yeah, I know.
Okay. She reaches down and takes Mira's hand and steps over to the table to sit down.
80 will make eye contact at one point with Mira and give a look of, you would know this to be, holy shit, this is so awkward. I'm kind of delighting in it, but what the fuck? All that with the raise of a brow.
Yep.
That nice unspoken twin language that you share,
Yes.
amplified by, the emotional intensity of everything going on.
Can I
sit down.
get an emotion check on everybody right now?
Sure. Your mother has always been difficult to read, but right now I think you are feeling the most intense emotions from her, which is probably a little bit unsettling to 80. You can feel a distinct amount of, how do I put this? That feeling that you get when you want to kill somebody. That genuine, I'm going to find that person and I'm going to wring their neck and they're not going to survive it. That's the deep down, most profound feeling that you get beyond the pure love that she is trying to express and feel for both of her daughters at this point. Your father, Varric, is easy to read, especially by comparison to Kalea. He's just he almost has a feeling of, okay, this is happening, like trying to talk himself through what's going on, but he also has this like sense of pragmatism that particularly 80 is used to. So it's not out of the realm of expectation. There's a lot of surprise, but he's doing a pretty good job of kind of keeping that awe in check. Burke, on the other hand, is just like roiling inside. He has so much just shock, almost to the point of like there is nothing else. But you can feel the sense of frustration at trying to formulate cohesive thought from him.
Sweet baby angel. Okay.
Hey,
Thank you.
Burke is a brilliant man, but even brilliance can have wrenches thrown in the works. And if there was one to happen, 80 did a good job of it. So
Your brother's Yogi Bear. That's what it is. Like that's Burke.
80 will, in feeling this from Burke, she'll look at him from across the table and grab a strawberry and say, "Hey, catch!" and then like arc it to see if he can catch it in his mouth.
Brilliant. Let's see. Oh, okay. He does have, yeah. You arc that strawberry up, and it's almost like instinctive, because you guys have probably done this dozens upon dozens of times at the dinner table just to piss off your mother. And Burke just like reflexively sees it coming and is like, and catches it in his mouth. Just thumbs up you as he's chewing it down, and there's this almost a sense of relief that comes through from
Good.
it. There's a bit of awkward silence that goes on. Do either of you break that silence?
Mira, you'd be able to feel 80 is fucking buzzing. She wants someone to talk so badly, and she'll do it if she has to.
I think Mira has been less inclined to be the one to break the silence this whole time, right? Mira, 80 came in just full tilt at the beginning of this conversation. So I think Mira is enjoying that a little bit and wants to see if 80 will break.
Yeah, after a couple more seconds, I think, 80 would finally. So we made it weird. I get that, but we can just take one step over it and like talk normally,
your father is like, yeah, that's a great. And Kalea just like, we're not going to circumvent what was discussed. It's
No.
important. And she's looking at 80. You're important. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about? You summoned us over here pretty quickly. No idea what Burke told you.
I don't think any of that really matters anymore, considering everything that we just discussed. But I guess the question at this point is, do you even want to go back to school? Because that was why I came here at all, was to help you through the difficulties you were having at school and trying to figure out how to move forward with that. But I mean, these things are significant. Do you want to return to Occam?
I think I've learned all I can there.
I know more than a few professors of mine that would disagree with anyone that makes that statement, but if that's not where you are at in your life right now, you don't have to continue to attend the school. You know that, right?
There are a few factors moving my path away from Occam. I think
I mean, holding on to a crystal of light, that's got to weigh on one of them, yeah?
Yeah. That was unexpected and really scudding frustrating, but
As you say that, your father just kind of smiles. I can imagine. I've had a few frustrating moments when it comes to the Ascendant myself.
have you ever heard from any of them?
It's hard to answer because they don't always. Each of the Ascendant communicates in their own way, and sometimes they leave it up to us to interpret what that communication. Look, I've read a lot about it, and I think so, but never as direct as maybe what you've dealt with. Which, if you haven't written that down yet, you need to write that down. You know that, right? For future historians.
I don't know that they're interested in my little conversation.
As a historian, I can promise you they're interested. They just don't know it yet. But they will, eventually. If you write that, someone, maybe a century, 2 centuries, maybe a millennia from now, will read that, and it'll be important.
Which Ascendant talked to you?
Like I said, it's not.
Which
It
Ascendant
doesn't-
do you think talked to you?
So at first, not easy to talk about all this stuff. And you can see that there is a certain amount of, yes, hesitation, but also just uncertainty with him. which is strange because normally when it comes to things of knowledge, your father is pretty resolute about them. And it isn't so much that you're picking up on notions that it isn't so much that he doesn't want to talk about it, it's that he's genuinely unsure about how or what to say, which is also kind of in his realm too. I know you don't, well, I know you know all of the Ascendant's names, but do you know anything about Apraxis?
A little.
Okay. He's sparing with how he lets people know things and shares knowledge and such, even though, of course, one of the tenets is to always, or to never hoard knowledge, right? One day, I was scribing one of my books to a new tome because the old one was fading. And there was a short time that I was writing and I didn't have control of my pen. The quill just moved on its own. And I kind of lost time during the writing. And by the time that I came to realize what was going on, I had finished the book. And when I went back to check that I had not made any mistakes, because, you know, of course you would expect there to be mistakes, I discovered some additional pages in the book that weren't in the old. And when I dug through the binding of the old book, several of them had been removed, and there was fragments of the parchment still clutched within the binding. And those pages, at least I think, can now exist once again in the new copy that was written by my hand, that most certainly could not have come from my mind. Like I said, perhaps not as flashy or direct as what Orlumus might deliver, but yeah, that was how it happened for me.
What do you know about Vimridel?
Oh, well, Vimridel is pretty amazing from a historical context. Probably one of the most powerful in many ways of all of the Ascendants. I know that they all technically have equal power among them and all of that. And, you know, there aren't any historians that would disagree with the idea that if we were without even one Ascendant, then whatever threats from beyond that they protect us from probably would succeed in their endeavors. I've been to a couple of ceremonies at Vimredal temples. Very powerful in the realm of Arcana. I know that much.
In these temples and in the study you've done, is there anything about balance?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, as I'm sure you have known from your many studies, because I know you like to read, magic can be used in a lot of different ways. And so there are those that Vimredal has challenged in the world to help curtail some of the foul uses of magic. And that they have often been referred to as balancers.
Is that an easy fate?
Oh, I would certainly think not. I mean, anyone that would be called upon by an ascendant to do a job for an ascendant or for the world, that's not an easy thing. And certainly the Imperium has many people throughout its history that have risen because of the generosity of gifts by the ascendant. Why do you ask about Vimray Dal? I thought Arlumus was kind of where you were headed. Have you had contact with more than one?
No.
Meanwhile, Burke is sitting like just next to him and is just like eating, watching this conversation.
You know that I spent a lot of time in various temples and shrines to
I remember.
Ascendant.
Yeah,
So I'm just
I remember.
curious.
While that conversation has been ongoing, Kalea has just kept like glancing over at 80, almost with a kind of "Are you okay?" expression, but she hasn't said anything. And there's genuine concern coming through the emotions.
I think initially when Mira and Dad start having the conversation, 80 would feel very relieved and would take a moment to sort of like restart. There have been a lot of emotions, and so to like have a normal conversation happening that's a bit distracting, I think it allows her to sort of like recenter.
The fact that that's a normal conversation says something.
I mean, it feels more normal than what's been going on, so I'll take it.
Fair.
Yeah, so then she'll look to her mom and see that she's sort of assessing her, and she'll just reach her hand across the table to take her mom's and just hold on to it.
As you do that, you grab her hand and she clutches yours very, very tightly. And a sense of relief very much washes over her. And it kind of tamps down some of the murdery feelings.
I think as of late, 80 can understand those feelings too. So she gets it.
So Kalea uses that as a kind of touchstone to kind of break into the conversation with between Mira and Varric. Says, so does that mean that you don't want to go to school? Back to Occam, I mean.
Don't put yourself out trying to get me back in.
80 will chuckle at that.
Fair enough. And who's going to break the news to Professor Evander?
I will. I mean, as long as I don't get my face beat to shit when I show up on campus again.
80 feels her hand kind of painfully being squeezed by Kalea.
He's aware that I have been pursuing other educational opportunities, shall we say.
Great. Maybe just a message for now. And I think perhaps it might be best if the two of you could spend some time outside of the city for a little while.
How long's a little while?
Maybe give me a week or so, if you can. More would be better.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, first I'm going to go and have a uncomfortable conversation with whoever is currently leading this group of Naestromo. And then I'm going to find out whoever interrogated my daughter. But I also need to have some conversations with a few of the other members of the various temples here in town and see where things are at. It hasn't felt right since we got here. And just based on a couple of things that Burke has told me, it feels like the people here in the city don't much care for the Naestromo being here.
Are you going to be okay?
Oh, I'll be fine. And you can hear the confidence and purity of that statement, that she has absolutely no fear whatsoever of whoever she might have to deal with.
That makes me more nervous. A little fear is healthy.
If there's one person I think you should deal with, I've heard the name Shokrin floating around.
Chokrin. I know that name, but I don't know where I know that name. And she turns and glances at Varric. And you can see that Varric, he has turned more pale. And there's a thinness to his lips. Yeah, we know that name.
Can you just elaborate? I feel like we're really sitting on a lot of secrets right now, and things would be a lot easier if we just like sort of opened up about things. I mean, I think we've done our part so far, so maybe like, you know.
Yes, you have absolutely opened up and done amazingly, 80, Mira, both of you. And while your father and I might be secretive, we have reasons to be secretive. There are things that the clergy just does not talk about. For whether that's good or bad, we just don't. Your father and I have always tried to keep our work life separate from our personal life. You know that. We travel enough as it is. It already has an impact upon all of our children. We don't want it to make things worse. So if you feel like we have kept secrets from you, please understand that we have done so out of the absolute best intention. That it has never been because we want you to not know things on purpose. It's because sometimes if you were to know things, it would either put you more in danger or upset you or many, many things. But we don't want to arbitrarily keep secrets from you. You understand that, right?
Yeah, I get it. But what's with the face? Chokrin.
You look at your father and that is the name of an apprentice. An apprentice to a very, very important person within the hierarchy of the clergy. His name is Kel Unun. And he has He's been part of everything for quite some time. He was at one point a High Archon, but he is not anymore. When you live nearly 800 years, at some point they ask you to step down. So if Chokran is indeed leading this endeavor, it's very likely that it is at the behest of Kellanu. Now, that could not necessarily be true. He could be doing things on his own to impress his very powerful master of the arcane arts. But whatever motivations there are, we're going to have to tread a little bit more carefully than perhaps we thought we would. And your father is like looking at Kalea as he says that, and you can see Kalea's face just tightening, and her jaw is like locked, and one of her hands is clenched into a fist upon the table.
Mira full on eye rolls and is like, see, this is why we're so frustrated, because, oh, now all of a sudden we have to tread lightly again and worry about upsetting the powers that be.
Kalea stares at you and says, it isn't about upsetting the powers that be. It's about upsetting someone that could literally disintegrate you on sight and not suffer any consequence.
There's a system that is giving that power to them.
And I have been working within that system for many, many years. You probably don't remember this, Mira, because you were traveling, and I understand that. We let you girls go off and do the things that you wanted to do, and we were happy for you to do that. But before the last set of virtue trials, did you know that I was on the commission for establishing those trials? I worked every day for months to subtly prevent those trials from focusing on just... And she looks at 80, and there's a very earnest sympathy coming from her as she looks at you, visibly as well as through the emotional sense. To prevent it from just outing people like you. Because that's what they were trying to do. Their virtue of truth was only there to reveal things that people wanted to keep hidden, and not about whether or not they were capable of honesty in their soul. I worked within the system to help prevent that from happening. Now, you might say that's not enough, and I will respect you for saying that, but I hope, beyond all hope, that you can also respect me, and that I was trying everything I could in that moment to help as many people as I could. This case is very different now. And yes, I have personal stakes now. Yes, I am furious now. But I am not without the forethought necessary to know that there will need to be some care in trying to handle the situation. So be mad at me if you want, but I'm not going to put you in any more harm's way than you're already in. Not without help.
So, after you handle the folks that, took Mira, what then?
I don't know what happens then.
Yeah.
If things go poorly, there could be enough religious fervor within the various groups of the clergy that this rivens them into a kind of holy war. And who knows what happens then? You get enough zealots wanting to deal with one another, it can go very, very poorly. So for all of the desire that I have in this moment to find whoever did that to you, as she looks at Mira, and end them, I know that at the very least, if I want it to matter for more than just you and me, I'm going to have to do it a certain way. Okay. And she's looking back and forth between both of the twins.
80 has a hard time staying mad because she's constantly getting all of the emotional input. And when there is sincerity and when there's the undercurrent of love, and I can feel that there is care for the people of the Imperium and all these things that like feel at odds with like her brain and like what logically is happening here. I think she just sort of nods and waits for Mira.
Can I just get you to answer one more thing?
Of course.
What happened to Torin?
Katie instantly feels as though her mother has been stabbed in the gut at the mention of his name in this moment. Like she's so emotionally just pummeled that she feels that.
I'll send that right on through to Mira.
Your mother visibly looks distressed. Your father reaches a hand out and takes his wife's hand. You can see that there's a shared moment of strength between them. And she raises her head up and looks at you, slightly teary-eyed. Like she's been struggling to keep that back this entire time, and this was just like the tiniest little needle that was enough to, poke a hole in the dam. She says, "If I knew, I would tell you. But all I know at this point is that he is gone, And wherever he is gone to, he can't come back from.
What does that mean? Gone dead? Gone
He's not dead. We tried that
missing?
route.
What?
He's not dead.
Oh, the second part of that. What did you say?
Resurrection doesn't work on a person if they're alive. Your father looks at you, Mira, and says, "The friend." Okay. Good one. There are things in this world that people can't explain, particularly when they're as secretive as him. All we know at this point is that he had to go in a hurry, and that he's not dead. If you want more than that, you're going to need to find some better diviners than we found. Your mother kind of composes herself as best she can. So, do you have a place that you can go for a while? Do we need to find a place to keep you safe?
We've got some options.
We had a potentially planned field trip outside of the city already, so looks like we'll take that now.
Great. I will let you know the moment that I have any news to share. Okay?
Adi takes more food from the middle of the table and continues to anxiously eat.
Burke stands up and says, "Yeah, why don't you guys eat you?" And he points at 80. It's like, "Over here." And he starts walking over to the bay window at the front of the house.
Okay. She'll shove another strawberry in her mouth and go over.
You
What?
shove the strawberry, leaving Mira and alone with your parents. Not really alone. You're only 12 feet away from them.
Yeah.
But your brother sits down in the on the sill of the window, and he just pats the next to him, and he says, "Sit."
Adi plops down, crosses her legs, and looks at him.
He reaches out,
unseriously.
grabs onto her shoulders, and just drags him against his shoulder.
What do you want? You're very annoying.
As he's sitting there hugging you, you can't see his face, but you can hear a little bit of waver in his voice as he says, "You could have told me at any time, right?"
Yeah. I know that now. I do.
Probably knew it the whole time. Not that you have the gift. No, knew that you know you could have told. You know what I mean.
I know. Look, I was young
Was
and younger and scared. And I don't know. I figured that the safest thing to do would just be to not let anyone know. Mira was kind of the only one who knew, and frankly is the only reason I probably haven't gotten my ears clipped yet. But I don't know, at a certain point, it's just like, you know, we kept the secret that long.
yeah.
It's not that
Okay.
I don't trust you.
It's not about that. It's just want you to know that those things don't matter to me. You're my sister. That's all that
I
matters.
know. I know.
All right. Now, speaking of my sister, what the fuck is going on with Phelan and Mira?
I really wish I fucking knew. Okay?
Oh, I can't go and ask her. Who else am I gonna ask?
As of right now, all I can say is might be back on. Might be back on. But like in a good way. I think they've talked a little bit about stuff.
I hope so, because when they came to me after that breakup, holy hell.
Mira too. It was fucked. We should have talked about this a long time ago.
A long
My
time.
God.
What the hell have you been doing? And he just kind of squeezes you and winks at you.
Mopping her up off the floor the whole time. It
Yeah.
was really bad. It was really bad. But
Very bad.
there were secrets that are no longer secrets, and I think that
Did they finally tell her about their dad?
Totally. But if you wanted to tell me about it too, that would be fine.
He just kind of rolls his eyes.
You
They didn't say
tell me.
anything, did they?
Just tell me.
Okay. So like, you know, I'm assuming that you know how old Phelan is. Did you know that his dad was human and his mom is an elf? Or their mom is an elf and their dad was human?
Not exactly, but sure. Okay. That
Yeah, I mean, it's different. Our parents are both half elves. Their parents
sure.
were not. Their parents were human and an elf. Their mom is like freaking 400 or 500 years old, right? Their
awesome.
dad passed away like 3 months before they started dating Mira.
Does
They
she-
never said
does
any
she
of
know
that?
I don't know. I don't think so. Do I know that? Did Mira know that? No. Okay. No, we had no idea.
All I can say is it really fucked them up. To
Yeah.
be like, their dad lived a long time. Like, he was like 104 or something when he died.
Wow.
That's saying something for a human.
Yeah.
But it fucked Phelan up pretty damn good. And
Well, yeah.
well, to be perfectly honest, when they were dating Mira, that was the happiest I had seen them in a long ass time.
Yeah. They were really good.
They were good at something
Mostly.
because they were pretty
Shut
happy most of the time.
Up. Shut up. Shut up. One of the things, okay, now that we're talking about all of this, one of the things is, I'm emotional, right? I feel everything all the time. All the time. Like right now, you're feeling confused. I know that's obvious, but you're feeling a lot of things. You're still kind of hungry. There's a lot going on. I feel it all so strongly. I hate it and I love it. It's a lot. But Mira and I are connected. It's a twin thing. It's a whole thing. Let's just say this twin connection. I know plenty about how happy they were for that entire fucking year, okay? Too much about how happy they were to be together. Yeah. Yeah. Too much.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Wait, so then how do you not know if they're back together again or not?
Because it's like
Wouldn't
the
you feel
swirl of
it?
emotions is absolutely obscene. Well, they haven't fucked at all. or
Oh
anything.
God, no! What the hell?
Sorry. Listen.
And that outburst causes, I'm assuming, would cause Mira to look, but also both of the parents to look over at the both of you. Yeah. Okay. No. That's yeah. I love you, sis, and just kind of pats you on the back and like stands up and starts walking away.
Good talk. Big
Good talk,
bro.
sis.
She'll come back and sit.
So yeah. Did you have any conversations with your parents of import whilst Burke and 80 were off talking?
I think I pushed about Torin a little bit more and was like, you have to know something else. Like, this can't be all that you know, and didn't probably get anywhere. So,
Not really, no.
yep. I think that was about all.
So as everybody comes back together around the table, is there any other further conversations that the two of you feel would be important to role play out at this point?
I think 80 is very much all talked out at the moment. Not unwilling to continue conversation, but not ready to start anything.
So, you say that you don't know where Torin is. He's not in the Imperium. Could he be somewhere else in the world?
Your father just kind of, I mean, I have read many, many things, and I can't say definitively that that's not a possibility, but... And your mother kind of looks at you and says, I hope that he is.
Mira's gonna go over to her pack and pull out one of the maps.
Okay. I'm assuming it's rolled up in your hand. And that is...
She'll shove the strawberries and biscuits aside and just unroll it.
As she unrolls it, both of your parents kind of stand up. Burke, who had just finished sitting down, like stands up, and they all start like leaning over this map slowly and looking at it. And your father is just meticulously looking at every detail of what's in front of him. His mouth is slightly agape, and your mother looks down at the map, gets very, very confused, and looks up at Mira. What is this? And where did you get it?
She'll roll it back up.
Your father's just looks at you confused.
Happened upon it.
Okay. And that means...
You tell me.
Your mother seems genuinely confused. Your father looks at you and his expression changes to one of a seriousness with which you've only seen maybe a couple of times in history. What have you found, Mira?
Just a map of places that don't exist.
No, that's... You found something more than that. What have you found? You don't get away with just a map. That's even close to what I think it is.
What do you think it is?
A continent to the east. So far away from ours that we cannot possibly see it with even the most highly powerful magical ocular lenses. Your mother is kind of looking back and forth between you every now and then, just glances at 80. 80 can feel nothing but pure confusion from Kalea.
So you know.
I suppose, but I don't know.
Well, this is good evidence to confirm, isn't it?
That's why I want to know what you found. Because there's no water damage on that map.
Couple of crates. Some old journals.
His eyes go wide. I think we need to have a very long discussion. Your mother kind of puts a hand out onto his shoulder. Okay, fine. Discussion. Do you want to tell us now? As she's looking at Mira.
As opposed to...
When you're ready to tell us. Whatever it is that you have discovered. Because if you're not ready to tell us now, you don't have to. And she stares over at her husband for a few moments. And then looks back at you.
Know why you assume that it's more than this.
She doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe that's all. Your father almost seems anxious when he says, okay, fine. Just tell me, is it true? Can you say definitively that there is a continent to the east?
I haven't been there.
There's almost a sigh of relief that comes from your mother when you say that. But your father says, but you know then, from whatever writings you discovered in whatever these crates are, you know, yes?
I am quite certain.
80 was nodding before Mira said anything.
Burke is just kind of leaning back in his chair, and his hands are like, and 80 can feel like, what the hell is going on?
She chucks another strawberry at him.
I just wanted to have dinner. It sails past his shoulder. He's completely oblivious now. Your mother looks back at you, Mira, and says, okay. She answered you. You said you have a lot of things going on, and I'm going to respect that. we have things that we don't discuss openly with you guys. You have every right to have things that you don't have to discuss with us at all. Just let me know that you're safe, or as safe as you possibly can be, wherever it is that you want to go. And that you can get a message to me if you need to.
When she says that, I'll pull out my spell book.
As you pull out your spell book, her eyes kind of widen a little bit. She looks down at it and looks back up at you.
I can get a message to you if you write your name on the last page.
Really? And she just, almost with a kind of awe or reverence, she takes the book gently out of your hand. And she just kind of rotates it in her hands. She hasn't opened it yet. She's like running a finger along the binding and along the edges of the page and the corners. It's really beautiful work. You can tell how much pride you take in it. And she like starts flipping through it, and you get a sense that she can read much of it at a cursory level, and 80 can distinctly feel a sense of pride basically as she's thumbing through the spell book. And
What
she
is
gets to the
Mira
left.
feeling right now?
Oh yeah, good question.
There was a little flash of annoyance about, the comment about taking pride in it, because like it didn't do what she wanted it to, because she's not a wizard. And so she feels conflicted about her spell book.
Doesn't it do what you want it to now?
It does now, yeah. But just that sort of deeply ingrained, like, God damn it. Fucking ascendant.
Says the warlock who's been bestowed gifts by an ascendant.
Yep.
She thumbs through it. She gets to the last page, and it's blank, right? You don't have any other names in it?
Correct.
Okay. She sees that it's blank. She kind of rubs her fingers along the parchment of it, and she just has this overwhelming, visible acknowledgement of the quality of it. And she like crests it in one hand, and she like smacks her husband several times in the chest with the back of her hand, and just holds out her hand and just kind of rolls his eyes, and he goes into like a small pouch at his side, and he pulls out a quill that is easily 6 inches longer than the pouch that he pulled it from. And he hands it to her. And as he hands it to her, you can see she kind of rotates it in her fingers a little bit. And as she does, you see a few drops of ink kind of forming at the tip. And she very gracefully and fluidly writes her name in the book. She blows on the ink a little bit, letting it dry. And she hands it back to you, open. And then hands the quill back to her husband, who just like snatches it and rolls his eyes again and stuffs it back into his pouch. But whatever you do, please let me know, okay? Let us know. And she looks at her husband, and he just kind of nods, and you can still see that he wants to speak, but he obviously is keeping himself in check.
Mom, you have such a beautiful signature. It's funny. Mira actually got really good at doing your signature.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know, man. Things are tense. Just trying to survive.
I'm just gonna haul up and like punch you in the leg.
There's a lot of tearful goodbye and emotional hugs and such acknowledgments of everything that the both of you have said. Light pressure to come back soon to talk about things, counter pressure to stay safe, and other things can be talked about later and the like. You get a sense that there's some kind of tension there between both of your parents. But you are heartfully acknowledged in everything that transpired in the evening. As you stand at the doorway of your brother Burke's home, Burke kind of steps out past both of your parents and hugs the both of you together. And as he pulls the two of you in close, he whispers, "We are absolutely not telling our brother about this."
Fuck no.
No.
Any of it.
No.
And he just kind of pokes 80 a little bit. But yeah, both of you be safe, huh?
We
Maybe.
have been so far.
He just kind of glances away from your eyes and obviously towards your cheek and chin, and it kind of rolls his eyes a little bit when you say that.
Listen, I held out for quite a while.
Yeah. Be safe. And the two of you step out into the evening air. Moon's rise well past. You're probably only going to get a few hours sleep tonight. But eventually, I'm assuming you all meet back up at the safe house?
I think Mira would want to swing by the apartment and just check in with Babs to see if Phelan had arrived.
It's pretty late. Do you wake up, Mr. Babineau?
I would knock gently, and if
He's got a spare key. Let's just, if we are, slick about it, he can't hear. He won't
that's
wake up.
true.
It's just,
You probably have a key to his place, to be honest.
just go in. Just
Okay.
go. Just go.
Fine, I'll sneak in.
You sneak into Mr. Babineau's home. You do find him there gently sleeping in his bed. He's snoring. The house is as it was the last time that you saw it. He is seemingly healthy and asleep.
I'll leave a little note.
It's like 2 a.m.
I know. I'll leave a little note that says, if Phelan shows up, I don't know where to send them.
For what it's worth, you did tell Phelan to find Burke.
I did, and then I said our parents were there, so if they didn't want to deal with that.
Fair enough. You leave a little note.
Yeah. It'll just, if Phelan shows up, I'll find them, tell them to be safe.
Fair enough. As you all round back up at the safe house, by the time the twins come home, I am assuming that the rest of you are asleep. Because the rest of you would have gotten there well before the twins' arrival.
Yeah, knocked out.
Yeah. The morning of the 18th comes. Suns rise as expected. Probably Bren first, being the farmer type, awakens before the rest, but he does find the twins there as well. He finds Ren in the kitchen, preparing a couple of things before she starts cooking breakfast. And not too distant from her, perched up in a windowsill that is open near the kitchen, you see Lyra, her rather large magical bird of prey, just standing there staring at you.
I think Bryn, like, he's got treats and stuff and he has animals. I think he like slowly approaches Lyra, like with his hands up, brandishing the snack, and he's like, "Good morning," and like just puts his hand out, offering it.
Ren just kind of chuckles and says, "Yeah, she'll happily take that from you. She knows not to hurt anyone that I don't want her to." And Lyra just kind of ruffles her feathers and reaches out and pecks your hand, snatching it very quickly.
It's more of a respect thing. I mean, these birds of prey, you want to, or it was more so of a respect thing for her and you, of course.
Yeah,
you beat me up
appreciate
this
that.
morning. 100%. You beat me up this morning. Did you get any sleep?
I mean, I got my reverie. I only need half the time,
Nice.
so I'm good.
Um,
The twins got in pretty late last night. I was just setting down for my evening. Do you want to let them sleep? They seemed pretty exhausted.
Normally I would, but no, I'm gonna go mess with him.
Good. I'm cooking breakfast. And she immediately you hear the whoop of the stove light up as she immediately starts cooking away and making plenty of noise. Like she had been being very careful, and now she doesn't have to because someone made that decision for her.
I'm gonna go over and loom over 80, and I'm going to project really strong feelings of panic and fear and just complete disarray, but I'm gonna get like this close to their face.
Okay, would I feel the fake feelings or would I feel the underlying
I don't know.
feelings
Let's
of
see.
I'm being a shithead?
Let's see how in touch Bren is with his emotions. Let's do we'll call it a deception check using wisdom.
Nice. Oh,
And-
crap. Wait. Okay, no. All right, still disadvantage, but it's still good. Here we go.
And let's call this a charisma saving throw on your part, Beth.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. Did it show up on the thing?
I didn't see it, so.
DD dice is being shit. Okay. Going physical.
Yeah, I saw a message earlier that they acknowledged they're having some technical difficulties.
Okay, so even at disadvantage, thank the gods, it's a 22.
Fuck off. I got a 13.
Yeah. I got a 17
it
and an
is-
18. And
It is
Wow.
pure, unadulterated, just panic and chaos that erupt into 80 during REM sleep.
She flails and goes to sit up and smacks her forehead against your nose.
he takes it. He's like,
What the fuck?
I saw. You went like this. It was great.
What is wrong with you?
I think I was sleeping close enough to 80 that she whacked
Oh, yeah.
me in the bruised face.
Everyone is waking up now at this point in the chaos.
Oh gosh.
Mira,
Oh,
ow. Bren laughing and ow. 80 just, yeah.
Woo.
Violet
man.
You're gonna
and
regret that.
Violet and Sisk. What do you guys? Oh, and here's
I
a curious
only do-
question for you, Kay. You can answer.
Mhm.
in the safe house, is Sisk sleeping as Sisk or as Sienna?
I think as Sisk mostly, if Ren's keeping an eye out and stuff.
For those of you that at home that don't know, we have house ruled that because of Sisk's nature, if they willfully choose to go unconscious, like in the form of purposefully falling asleep, they can retain their form that they have taken if they don't want to appear as a changeling. So that was why we asked the question.
So Sisk is awakened, not thrilled, and is going to cast silence just in the kind of corner where they're sleeping and try to go back to sleep.
Bren's over there, she's like,
Oh, in the no, you're basically casting it on yourself so that you don't have to hear.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Exactly.
Got it. Oh, okay.
just from your perspective, that's what you see. You're just like, he's just like,
He's having a good time.
And what about Violet?
I think Violet sleeps really close to Sisk because Sisk is such a deep sleeper like Violet. So I would hope that she's in that sphere as well.
Absolutely.
Is anyone going to press the two sleeping heads into being awake, or are you guys going to let them sleep?
No, 80's awake now. She will not be going back to sleep.
where is it?
She'll just lay there, just like rubbing her eyes. I hate you a lot.
Yeah.
Why did you have to punch me in the face?
I'm sorry. He attacked me with feelings.
I did. It was.
That's not a
The
thing.
best-
You can't
the
attack
best
someone with
thing.
feelings.
Don't tell me about my lived experience.
It's getting so much better. Oh, you went like it was great. Ooh, man.
Why are you,
That's gonna carry me through the rest of the day.
Why are you this way right now, here in the early morning? Bren.
because you guys ask me frustrating questions often. This is my one moment, and I took it.
Even though there is an aura of silence around Violet and Sisk, you can still smell the aromas that have begun percolating out of the kitchen. And
I'll start stretching like it's a beautiful, quiet morning, as if whatever chaos is going on. Be like, smells good.
Fuck all of you guys. 80's gonna get up for coffee, walking over, kicks Bren in the shin, goes to get a cup.
as soon as you walk into the kitchen, Ren just reaches out a hand filled with a steaming cup.
Thank you so much.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired.
Yeah, well, you can sleep when, you have time.
Yeah. Thank you for this. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, you should go and make sure that my niece is actually awake.
Does she have to be awake yet? I mean,
I could send Lyra to wake her up. That's not going to be anywhere near as pleasant.
I will do it. I will do it.
Great.
Wait.
Breakfast will be done shortly.
Mess with Violet too.
Stay away from Violet. 80 will chug coffee that's too hot, leave the cup on the table, and go over right in front of Violet and just sort of lay down and be really annoying and wiggle into her space. Wake up.
No, there's silence.
Not as fun.
There's no noise.
She doesn't. She'll say it and then realize fuck me. So just keep poking.
Swat at your hand a lot. But we'll eventually wake up and rub the sleep out of her eyes.
Bren, you know
How did
you
you
would
guys-
get knifed by Violet if you tried to fuck with her while she's sleeping, right? You know that?
I was gonna sit on her head as a bear.
She would straight up murder your ass.
I could take the hit.
Mm-hmm.
Already stabbed him once.
I still standing.
Violet steps out of the aura of silence just in time to hear that.
Why did you
So
guys
what?
get in?
I guess the meeting with your parents didn't go so well. Cranky pants.
It was fine. We were just out late.
We have been tasked to get out of town.
Oh yeah, they told us to leave town, so.
They were that mad.
Yeah, we're going no contact with them, so. It was really difficult, so thanks for waking me up, Bren. Just kidding. Things were fine.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah. Kind of figured.
Well, cool is maybe a strong way to put that, but
Why do we have to leave town?
I think
'Cause our
mom's
mom's
going
gonna
on a
murder some
tear.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
But delicately, because good question. We had some disagreements about how strong their, I don't know, actions should have been and maybe should be in the future.
What did you not tell them?
Technically, they don't know about the ship.
Not even technically, they just don't know. We didn't mention it,
Didn't come
or
up.
anything adjacent to it, or anything at all. It was,
Come on.
I just want to see
Go
how
ahead.
much they know about other places, and so I may have showed them a map, and Dad got real excited about it, and then felt like there was more. So I told him we found some crates and journals, and that is all.
that actually is
He
all.
looks at 80. Okay.
Yep. I did tell them about my magic, so the pool just keeps getting wider. Yeah, so they
How'd that
know,
go?
Bert knows.
Yeah.
Actually, it was fine. Annoyingly fine.
That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
That must have been a relief.
Yeah.
Oh, Violet, apparently you're a balancer, and you are in for some shit with Vimmerdale. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it was good.
How did your thing go?
Glenn told Tamara
Wait a
about
minute.
everything.
Hold up.
What?
Everything, Bren.
And she was so excited she could just kiss Bren. She did not take that
You guys couldn't give
opportunity,
me
but
Are you
did
kidding?
5
perhaps probably smooch some other guy in a cloak. So
What?
No smooching, just face
We
touching.
missed that? Oh, honestly, intimate. Come on, Bren.
hey Bren,
So
if
you
you
know
want
this,
to be a scudhead in the morning, we can hit you back.
I was gonna get to it after this part of the conversation.
You tend to
right?
leave out
This-
semi-important details when you tell stories, so I feel like
What about this was important that needed to be known?
every
Frankly,
single piece
it's-
of it.
It's the most important part. That's what I want to know first.
Absolutely.
And then
Let's rank the things of importance. You telling your parents that you're an innate magic user. You telling your parents that you're getting kicked out of school. Y'all telling your parents about this wonderful map of distant lands. But please, by all means, the fact that I have feelings for someone is the most important.
Yeah, very
thing.
much. Mm-hmm.
you admit it?
Ew. It's all of you at once. What? I mean, I had to deal with them on the way back with just like, Bren, you look a little angry. Are you jealous? Who cares if he's 6'5"? It's dumb. Stop staring at me.
At this point, even the bird is staring.
What? Okay, so I mean, are we really having this conversation? I don't want to. And then now the projected feeling is extreme embarrassment.
All right. But what did you guys talk about?
Tamara does know a metalsmith that could work with the steel, but
Awesome.
they're located in the south, in the desert,
Oh,
deep south.
Okay.
shit. Well, how the hell are we supposed to get down there?
Glad you asked. The boat.
Sorry,
Our boat?
Isn't what we need to prevent the boat from exploding kind of what would be... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have more people to stabilize at this time, so that should be helpful if we need to just throw a ton of magic at it again.
As you say that, Oriana kind of emerges from the back room that she had been sleeping in.
Surprise!
just kind of yawns, stretches. Hi, good morning. Did someone say
morning.
magic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd everyone do with their adventures last night?
They were adventures.
Very.
I didn't think anyone was gonna not come home, so I hope it went well.
It did.
What are we talking about? And Ren kind of pokes from around the corner. Breakfast is ready. And
Hey,
she comes
Oriana.
out with like a plate of sausage biscuits, and then another plate with a whole bunch of cheeses, different kinds of cheese to melt on your very hot and fresh biscuit.
Oh, that's wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you.
Ariana, would you tell us if you didn't think any of us would come home?
Well, yeah,
Okay,
of course.
great.
So, yes. In order for us to get to where we need to go, flying the boat is going to be the way. Now, we do have more people, like you had said, to stabilize the engine, which is fine. It's still kind of questionable, but we can do it. Would be a good test run too.
Also,
Okay.
failing to fix the giant hole in the boat.
Yes. Where are they?
That's a great question. Not at Mr. Babineau's. We checked.
You didn't send him an insect love note?
Oh God.
You did actually. You had sent him another moth to tell him to meet at. That was how you told them to go to Burke's.
Right. Yes. But trying to meet up with them might be complicated because having a moth give directions, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I could send one and have them meet us at the farm, meet us at one of the, big ass stables by the city. I don't.
Big ass stables. You know what? We probably need to go to the farm anyway. We're expecting things.
We're expecting things?
Yeah, supplies.
Oh, okay. Great. I will tell them to meet us back at the farm. And I will send another love moth.
You guys are weird.
Sounds
I don't
good.
know what it is with you.
As you do the spell, Oriana's just fascinatingly watching you, and as you finish it and the moth gets summoned and you whisper into it and send it away, she has an audible reaction.
So they'll meet us there. That's amazing. Okay, important question. Part of this whole deal is that we've been trying to not let anyone know about this enormous flying ship that we have. How are we expected to just completely fly over the continent?
Well, one idea I had for at least temporarily is to. I got a scroll of mirror image or major image, not mirror image, major image.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Okay.
So we can hopefully, get out of the mountains. We might have to, go around settlements. If Mira, can you scribe things into your book? Because then maybe you could take this scroll and add it to your repertoire.
I can try. It's a really good idea.
But so yeah, if we have multiple uses, then it might be easier to get past the different settlements. Alternatively, we're starting a revolution, so it could be like a symbol.
We're not starting a riot. We're not starting a riot to cover up the fact that we're flying out of here.
That's not fun, but okay. Yeah, that was my idea. I don't know if anyone else has bright ideas, but
I mean, it sounds like you've considered so much. Amazing. Fantastic work.
Oh,
we thought about who we're going to take with us. We can't fly the ship ourselves.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Mira, who are we bringing with us?
Yeah, Mira, who's coming with us,
Well,
Mira?
there are 7 of us here.
Oriana just kind of raises their hand.
Yeah,
of
you're
course
in.
I'm coming.
Of course, you're definitely in. Ren, are you joining?
Ren just kind of looks up from a mouthful of sausage biscuit, just looks at you with a duh kind of expression.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, at least according to Violet anyway, none of you actually know how to read the stars to travel, so...
I dabble.
We would be
Right.
very grateful for your help.
Yeah, I'm coming. Then takes
Cool.
another mouthful of biscuit.
So there are 7 of us here, and
Stop fucking around. Is Phelan coming or not? What's
I
the
don't
deal?
know. I haven't talked to them today.
I just... Did you tell your parents about Phelan?
What is there to tell?
You tell us. What is there to tell?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay. Okay. Let's just kind of we're having the moment. We're going to be on a boat together for an extended period of time. I have a deep infatuation with Tamra, but their line of business and who they associate with, as well as my own internal things, keep that from being a thing. I also don't even know if that's something that they would even want. But I think Tamara's lovely. Also, Mrs. Withersby is also very lovely. And that's it.
Ren,
What?
I love this for you. Should we have Mrs.
Okay.
Withersby come along?
No.
She would love it.
She has a bad hip. I would not put that stress on her.
It sounds like you've been putting stress on her bad hip already, so.
You want to get into this? You really want to?
Not anymore.
Exactly. Thank you. So, I've said my thing. Guess what, twins? Truth or dare, and you don't get to pick. Mira, please tell us the truth about Phelan.
I don't know what you want from me. I'm telling you the truth. If they want to come, they are welcome to come. I
want to know how you feel, honestly.
Complicated, okay? I feel complicated.
That's not an answer.
Yes, it is.
It's the start of an answer.
It is not, and let me tell you why. It was very complicated with me, but you two pressed. So complicated is no longer an answer. I found an answer. You can do us the same. Because, and here's the reason why, right? It's fun. It's gossip. But Phelan would be very important to us on that ship. And if it is a thing to where you are emotionally inclined to not have them there because you don't know how you can handle yourself, then it's a concern. But if it's true, and it's not just a crush, then that needs to be addressed. Not with Phelan, definitely not with us, but with yourself. Because if shit does hit the fan, business needs to be business. So, how do you feel?
I'm in love with them, okay? Does that make you happy?
It doesn't make me happy.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what. Oh, God. You're making this horrible for me.
Good morning.
Why? Why did you wake up this way? You woke up and chose violence, and I hate it. I hate it.
I want problems. Always.
Who are you? What happened?
I just, my buddy got me a coffee earlier, and now I'm just, whew.
Well,
this is a great morning.
There could still be problems on the ship. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So, there.
But it's not just a deep care. It is a true loving feeling, right?
I guess so. If you're going to make me put labels on it.
Gotcha. And so, just for giggles, right? In those moments to where you cannot express yourself, one of the people that you can truly turn to is your sister, right?
Yes.
Who are you going to turn to when you can't turn to her?
That's never going to happen.
You'd be surprised.
What the fuck?
She goes down, I go down. I'm
not saying in that manner. What's going to happen? Who are you going to talk to when there's something that you really cannot talk to 80 about? It's easier to talk to somebody that you love and not just in a blood bond way. These biscuits are wonderful, Ren.
You look over and you see Ren and Oriana just sitting next to each other, and they both have like coffee cups in their hand, and they are like mid-clink taking sips of their coffee.
Oh, breakfast in the show.
So Phelan's coming. I think that would be smart. Plus, they've already spent time up there. They probably know more about the boat than we do.
It's possible.
Are you cross with me?
Yes, very.
Good. It means you're focused. We need to get things done.
I get things done without being mad at everyone.
Yeah, but it takes longer.
Don't start with me.
I've already started.
Not you, her.
Oh, sorry.
And now somehow Mira is mad at 82.
Tale is all this time.
You all have a little bit more continued discussion about what to do next, but I am curious, is there anything else that you plan on doing in the city before you depart? Is there anything else that you need to get done?
Now I feel like I'm forgetting something.
I know. I think I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. As you all gather things, Ren indicates that she has a couple of things to wrap up. You do honestly need to give the twins at least a little bit more sleep before you head off to the farm. God, that sounded bad. And there's enough like little things. I'm assuming Mira is actually going to send Professor Evander a message. You don't have to write all of that out right now. You can send that to me later on offline if you wish. But there's enough little things that you end up not being able to really set out until the afternoon anyway. And afternoon rolls around, and as you are getting ready to depart, Mira feels the familiar sensation of a sending spell coming into her mind. And she hears the voice of Victoria once again in her mind. And she says, courtesy of Phelan, please meet at the barge, wherever that is. Important things everyone should know. I am not a messenger.
Thanks, you're the best. Guess
What
we're
was
meeting
that?
at the barge. Phelan wants to meet at the barge. There's stuff happening, I guess. I don't know.
Cool.
The succubus didn't have any further details. That was all I know.
I have a question. Why do we not like Victoria again?
You haven't met Victoria. She
I
is
know, but like, I need to be prepared. So like, if you guys are
literally the
scowling,
worst.
why? What did she do?
You know, you just meet people and they rub you the wrong way.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
asleep when I met those people.
Uh-huh.
Not
Yeah.
you, Violet.
Yeah. She is just one of those people.
Is it because she
She's
married your brother?
They're not married. Why do you've asked that before? They're not married. They've been
Is
together
it
for
because she
what?
likes
Like
your brother and
3
you think your
months?
brother's an idiot?
She's also really snooty. She's got a little bit of money, and she thinks she's better than everyone else. She was constantly trying to one-up me in classes. She is literally the worst.
Saw this play one time. It's called like Mean Girls. You should see it.
Okay?
Sounds fun.
We wear pink. Okay. I just didn't know. It honestly was an honest question because, like, if she shows up and you guys are scowling, I need to know when I need to scowl too and for what reason. Trying to be supportive. It's not working.
Not today, it's not.
You guys, oh man, I made the right decision. Okay.
So
I'm ready to go.
you all head off to the barge. It does not take as long to reach Violet's barge as it does to reach Bren's farm, but it still takes long enough that by the time you catch the several gondolas that you have to catch, as well as the river crossing boat, which runs on specific timelines and such, by the time that you do all of that, you find the suns are setting once again on the evening of the 18th. You cross the river and you see Violet's barge in the distance. Violet, you didn't come here after you returned to the city. It's been quite some time since you've seen it. You are immediately reminded of the last time that you were on the barge, and I'll leave that to you to decide how that affects Violet. But as you near it, you see a figure stand up from a hunched position on the front of the barge. The silhouette, to Mira and probably to AD as well, you recognize that it is Phelan. And they wave in your direction as you approach, and they immediately kind of hunch back down. There isn't anything to give you pause or concern other than it's obvious that they're wanting to meet, at least somewhat secretively. But other than that, like, you're not getting any sense of danger or the like in the immediacy of it. You make your way up onto the barge as well, and Phelan emerges from the shadows, and they have a cloak that they have, pulled back behind them, and they say, we should probably head down below decks, I think, for the best opportunity to stay quiet and all that.
What
Is that
vibe
all
am
right?
I getting from all of this?
They have
Perception.
they have concern in their emotional state. There is a fear, but it's not like an overwhelming, fear. It's there, but there's definitely a little bit of it there. And they appear somewhat relieved when they see Mira. Oh, actually, no, they don't. Well, yeah, right now they see Mira and are relieved. They don't see the bruises on Mira's face yet. Does Violet respond in any way when they were addressed by Phelan?
No. Violet kind of just takes a moment. And if people start going down, then she'll head down, but would probably take like a moment on deck and just kind of take in everything that's happened the last couple months.
Okay. Phelan turns and starts heading down below with, no apparent statement from anyone not to. So.
I think Bryn gives like a slight look to Violet. He doesn't say anything, but like it's one of those knowing looks, like, then walks down.
Meet you guys down there.
As you all head down below decks, Phelan moves over to one of the oil lamps that's hanging from one of the several posts, goes over and lights it up and starts to say, well, that was definitely an interesting voyage back down, and turns and sees Mira's face. It's like, what the heck? Immediately approaches and like reaches out to cup their face gently, not being careful to not touch the immediate obvious bruised part. What happened? What is this?
It's been a interesting few days. The Naestromo send their regards to me, I guess.
Fucking bastards. All right. I'm assuming that whoever did this at least got punched in the jaw.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Also, our
They
mom might
aren't taking their eyes off of Mira, by the way.
Makes sense.
I didn't really get any hits in before they managed to tie me up. It's fine.
really not. And they place their hand on the side of Mira's arm just below the shoulder. It's really not.
Doesn't feel like the biggest of our concerns right now.
You're right. It's one of many concerns, but it's still important. Okay?
Yeah.
They seem like they want to reach out and embrace Mira, but they kind of pull back and look at the rest of you. Where's Violet? And I'm sorry, I don't know who. And they look at Ren and Oriana, who just kind of hold up their hands.
They're friends. Violet's taking a minute. It's difficult here for her. But this is Ren, who's Violet's aunt, and Oriana, who helped us actually get Mira back to safety. So they'll be helping us.
So it's okay to talk in front of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Great. I'm Phelan, by the way, if you didn't know. And you see them like self-consciously pull the collar of their shirt up around their neck. Yes, so right, the ships. I've taken a look. There's a decent chunk of very usable wood here on the barge, and between that and the supplies that Tig showed me, I think we've got what we need to repair the hull and some of the other things that need to get done. The difficult part is going to actually be getting, I mean, it's going to be difficult, but hauling everything up there. I've got some friends in the business that I can call upon. They're able-bodied. They have access to another barge. We could ferry this one out of its mooring and upriver, farther, closer. I know, Bren, that you indicated the farm and everything, and whilst I have a general sense of where it is, I don't know exactly where the farm is. So
it's fine. We'll let you know.
Yeah,
It's fine.
we should be able to get it close enough to the farm that it should be a relatively easy haul to dismantle. My question, though, is, being in the business that you are, do you know anyone with a good, strong cart, wagon, and perhaps some beasts of burden that can haul some very, very heavy things up steep mountainsides?
Yes, I do. I also have a wagon that I've been working on. So there's at least that. I mean, you can assess it if you feel it's strong enough.
We've got options.
Also, we have options.
Right.
I am also one of those options for beast of burden.
Right. Okay. Anyway,
You weren't there. Oh, you were knocked out. Sorry.
We'll leave that for later. It's going to take more than just one. It's going to take several, 2 or 3 at the least. So, good to know. I guess we can work out those logistics later. Right now, you should just know that rough estimates are that it would take anywhere between 8 and 10 days to get everything moved, and as long as it goes well enough, hauled up the mountainside. And that's assuming that all of you are willing to work on this as well, because it's going to take a considerable amount of effort. After that, somewhere around maybe 12 days to patch everything up. Of course, the more hands at the ready, the faster and easier it will be. But that's just my perspective on things, fixing the relatively standard physical sailing parts of the ship. The magical bits are not really my thing. And they just kind of turn and look to Mira. So I hope we've got an answer for that part.
Sort of.
Jeez.
We need to fly it down to the desert.
All right. And I'm assuming that by desert you mean the south.
Mm-hmm.
And it will work to get us there even if we need something from the desert?
Yes.
Possibly.
Great.
We hope so.
We may fall out of the sky, but
I just don't.
Wonderful. I can handle what I can handle.
When we first found it, it was really unstable. And we threw a ton of magic at it, and it helped. I think we could do it again. And we've got more people now.
We also
Oriana
needed
kind of
to
holds up. No, go ahead, Ian.
We also needed to just get us to where we're going, because once we get there, then we would have the thing we need to make sure that, it's fine from there on.
As you say that, Oriana just kind of holds up her hand and waits for someone to acknowledge her.
You
could
pretty
just
lady in the back.
jump right in. You don't have to wait for us to.
Right. Yes. The magical things that you had me kind of look through. There's a lot there that falls into the realm of abjuration, which can have stabilizing effects on different chaotic magical fields. I don't know how much of that you've already looked into, but it is kind of a hobby of mine, protection and the like. So I'm happy to assist with all of that.
You're hired. Great.
Wonderful. Balin just kind of nods their head. Oh, great. All right, then. There's a bit of bad news, though.
There always is.
As I was leaving the Siltwood, I saw a group of individuals coming north from the city. They were wearing black, red, and azure robes. And fairly certain they were Naestromo. There was 4 of them. And they were distinctly headed north. Don't know what that means. That was just this morning. So I rushed back to the city as quickly as I could. By the way, Victoria is very angry with me for some reason, and I don't know why.
It's just how she is.
When you say they're heading north, were they heading into the wood?
The Siltwood, yes. They were distinctly headed in the direction of the Siltwood, which is kind of hard to miss. It's kind of the only thing you can do going north. Now, don't get me wrong, the Naestromo, in whatever these machinations that they have ongoing have all the reason in the world to go into the Siltwood, but I find the timing of it to be too coincidental.
We have to assume they know.
I think the timing matches up with the bruises on my face.
What does that mean?
I held out against their interrogations as long as I could. And one of my methods was to try and taunt them to keep my own spirits up, and I said something stupid and may have pointed them north. They seem to know more than what I told them, so I don't know what exactly they know, but they know something.
Balin just kind of steps forward, and you see one finger kind of toying at the collar of their tunic. They just reach out and wrap Mira up in a hug.
I think she starts to cry.
He starts crying. A few moments later, those of you looking around are able to see some tears coming down Phelan's cheek as well. Andrew, does Violet come back down?
Yeah, I think at this point, she'd probably come down.
Probably been sitting at the edge for a bit,
Mhm.
hearing most of that conversation.
Yeah,
But
it's just hard to be around.
seeing Mira and Phelan crying probably causes her to emerge from her little shadowy perch.
When she comes down, 80 will stand next to her and just hold her hand.
Show good bit.
Violet, how about you kind of show us what you think is salvageable, and we can start putting together a list.
Balin kind of clears their throat, steps back from Mira, looking at Mira as they clear their throat. There's like a nod, like this "we'll talk later" kind of expression. And they turn and look back towards everyone else, saying, "No, I already did a little bit of that in the scant bit of daylight that I had left. I've got a sense of already what we can do with this very generous gift," as they look at Violet. All we have to do is get it there.
I know you had said previously, but are you okay with this?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
It's weird when it's actually happening, you know? We make a lot of plans, and then when it starts happening, it starts to feel real. It's a bit harder to let go, but still want to.
Or, for what it's worth, this isn't going to be a seamless patch job. It's going to be very noticeable that the ship was fixed with these timbers, and you will know every part of the ship that your barge contributed to keep it together, including a very, very, very large section on the starboard side. It's going to be noticed on multiple decks.
Riley will whisper to 80, I fucking hate when he's nice.
I know.
It's very kind of you, Balin. Thank you.
Well, you don't have to be there when we take things apart if you don't want to be.
Yeah. Let's see. But there's lots to do. What's next? What are we
That's
doing?
a good question. I've said my piece. What somebody make a decision here, because I need to know what to do next.
So we already have we have a large series of supplies that's already going to the farm. So it's best that we get to moving the barge however you suggest, as fast as possible, as quickly as possible, so that we can just add it to what we have, so we can have a full scope of, what we have and what we need to move it specifically.
But shouldn't we try to stop the Naestromo from, finding the ship? Because if they find it, I mean, we won't have any need for the supplies we're gathering.
Yeah, it's true. I wonder.
I mean, I'm assuming that these individuals are not familiar with the Siltwood, and they probably don't know that exactly where they need to go. I seriously doubt that Mira told them step for step the path that they need to take. So it's going to take them some amount of time to locate it. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how you all even located it to begin with. So
We had a lot of guidance on our way.
I wonder if
you guys all, it was also like
guidance
spewing
in.
smoke when you guys were trying to find it, which it's no longer doing. So
I think we could potentially call on any of our friends that we met in the wood while we were there, maybe to slow them down.
I mean, we could tell our mom, and she'd probably knock him out entirely.
Yeah, there's that. But
I'm just kidding. We wouldn't send our mom after 4 Naestromo. That's a little crazy, but she does want to, do some harm.
Balin looks nervously between 80 and Mira.
We were invited to leave the city for at least a week.
This is going to take a lot longer than that. So, yeah.
Yep.
Friends in the forest, you say?
yeah, so we helped birth a dragon. We met a protector of the Siltwood. Violet had a series of interactions. So I would say if we were to go back, it would be significantly easier because of our connection. And then we have a friend, Star, who is also a dragon, pseudo-dragon. Dragon.
Looks in Mira's direction. I think we need to have a much longer chat about some things. Just catch me up on recent events, maybe.
Mm-hmm. The last month or so.
Yeah, that sounds good. Right. Well, if any of you wanted to go off and try to find your dragon friends, I can get in contact with my mates and have the barge start its process. Like I said, it's going to take a day or two to get it up there, a few more days to dismantle, and then, finding that direct path should be relatively easy to get us up the mountainside. Ren just kind of crosses her arms and says, yeah, I can do that. Wonderful. Maybe we sleep for a bit and get busy in the morning then.
Yeah, I'm very tired today. I wonder, didn't get much sleep last night.
I'm sorry, but it was funny.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe that it was funny? Because it was.
Oh, no, I believe that you believe that, for sure.
I'm not the only one. I can't promise I won't do that again. In this moment, too, I think if you'll allow it, Miko, I want to do a quick mind link to Mira.
Sure.
And just say, that was that moment. And I think this is the strongest that you've ever been in making this decision. I'm very proud.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He doesn't say anything, but he just smiles.
Now, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to end our session there for the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on tonight's little adventure.